Thanks for coming out on this chilly spring day. Today is a great day for Miamisburg. We are here to celebrate the groundbreaking for Riverfront Park. My name is Ryan Davis. I'm the Parks and Recreation Director for the City of Miamisburg Parks and Recreation Department. I have the distinct privilege and honor to welcome you here today. Thank you all for helping us celebrate the beginning of the next phase of the City of Miamisburg's investment into our community, into our downtown, and into our Riverfront Park. As you will hear throughout the ceremony this morning, this project we are celebrating is the result of over 23 years of intentional planning, input gathering, strategizing, investing, and community building. I'd like to start by offering a few acknowledgments and thank yous. Our Mayor, Michelle Collins, City Manager Keith Johnson, and Miamisburg Community Foundation President Greg Bell will offer some acknowledgments, I'm sure, but I'd like to begin by thanking all of those of you who have worked over the past 23 years to make this vision of a vibrant downtown park a priority for this city. That includes all the former council members, managers, past directors, various consultants, and staff members who may no longer be with us or with this organization, but their impact to this project was vital. To the countless residents who have given their feedback into what they thought a revitalized downtown would look like, to those who participated in the multiple design sessions, the focus groups, or the surveys that have taken place over the years, to those who have chosen Miamisburg as their place to work, open a business, or made this community their home. I'd like to thank our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board and all of the volunteers who have positively influenced and impacted this project so much over the past 20 years. Without such an engaged citizenry, we would not be where we are today. Their effort, their input, their excitement, and their engagement into this process, along with the vision and work of the leaders of this city who have placed the importance of revitalizing this downtown, is such a big part of what makes Miamisburg such a wonderful place to live, to work, and to play. The project that we're breaking ground on today represents nearly $5.7 million worth of investment into this community. Over the past 23 years, about that same amount, $5.7 million, has been spent on this project to get us to this place where we are today. That includes a $2.1 million Clean Ohio grant that was achieved in 2003, 20 years ago, and through the construction of Water Street, the Eyebrow, the splash pad, and the restrooms in more recent times. Over the next 12 months, you will see this place that surrounds us transformed from its current condition into a new, vibrant, permanent signature park. And yes, the one thing that's on everyone's mind, there is additional parking. Nearly 250 spaces when it's all said and done will help bolster the downtown. As the construction begins, we're also launching our communications campaign about the project. We are balancing the ability to construct the park as fast as we can while minimizing the impacts that the physical construction will create. We will be doing our best to minimize the short-term pain felt by some inconvenience, and we will work hard to educate, communicate, and support businesses, residents, and visitors, while also celebrating the impacts that this final project will create. It is true that this project is so much more than just a park. This project is about economic development, bolstering the downtown business district, ensuring that the community at large remains attractive and vibrant for our businesses, our residents, our schools, and our visitors. This project is about infrastructure, adding parking, access, and maintaining underground utilities, as well as removing aging infrastructure and streets. This project is about businesses, as the park will host tens of thousands each year, creating an economic impact that directly benefits the downtown business, the city at large, and each homeowner and resident whose community becomes better with a new park and a thriving downtown. This project is about bringing the community together in a space that anchors the downtown and serves as a beacon for the community. And yes, this project is about a park that will serve as home to an inclusive, multi-use playground at a level of quality and play that surpasses all others in this community, but is aligned exactly with what our community has asked for. A playground that has something for everyone and every ability, located close to restrooms, and giving families a reason to spend more time downtown when they visit. A park that includes a permanent amphitheater that will serve as home to concerts, theater performances, events, and ceremonies. The stage will be home to headliners and first-timers, performances that will get the community moving and grooving, and will also be home to a child's first on-stage performance in front of an audience of those who love and support them. The park is home to a great lawn where small businesses will sell their wares as vendors at events, where folks will dine and enjoy their lunch or dinner after stopping at one of their favorite restaurants. A park that is designed for everyone to enjoy, but more importantly is designed to be our park, a Miamisburg signature park, a park that sets the standard for what parks in Miamisburg can be. A park that will serve as a new front door to our community. For hundreds of years, communities were built with their backs to the river. In recent history, cities up and down riverways are finding ways to bring people back to the water. And for those who recreate along the Great Miami River, or for the thousands of bikers, walkers, and runners who utilize the Great Miami River Recreational Trail, the nation's longest paved trail network, Riverfront Park will be here, inviting them to explore all that Miamisburg has to offer. It is true that Riverfront Park, which today we are celebrating the beginning of construction, is the product of countless hours of effort, thought, and energy by many over the past 20 years. But Riverfront Park, when complete, will serve as a shining light within this community, a bright spot within the Star City where all are welcome to play, gather, and celebrate, a place that will both bring people to this community and serving as a place for this community. That is why this project is about so much more than a park. This project represents the best of what the city is and what its future can be. I'd like to say thank you to the Kleinders Group, to Kelly, Lynn, Steve, and everyone on their design team for their efforts in helping us design this park, as well as Eric Vogel with Fishbeck. The design is beautiful, it is functional, and it's engaging. It's amazing how they have taken the history of previous designs, all of the input that was gathered from the community over the past 20 years, and the often disjointed, sometimes conflicting advice that we may give them, and turn it into something that's cohesive and usable. Its value to this community will be felt for decades to come. I'd like to thank the Miami Conservancy District for their input, guidance, and assistance in building a park along a levee which protects our community. I'd like to thank Montgomery County Transportation Improvement District, Crystal and Vanessa, who couldn't be here today, and to Mike Eddy, who will be the project manager managing the construction of this park. Their expertise and skill and relationships with contractors has been invaluable and has really set this project up to be a success. I could not be more proud of our Parks and Recreation team. Their efforts have made this department a highly valued service to the residents, business, and visitors of the city. Their tireless effort to strive to meet our mission is remarkable, it is noticed, and it is appreciated. I'd like to acknowledge all the city staff from all the various departments that have helped with this project over the years, from City Engineer Bob Stanley, Public Work Director Valerie Griffin, Finance Director Jennifer Johns, Development Director Chris Fine, and all of the other department heads, their staffs, and everyone in the city. This project has truly been a result of everyone working together towards a common goal. To City Manager Keith Johnson, who has been extremely supportive of this direction and who has played such a large part in leading the city to become what it is today. And finally, I'd like to thank the mayor and council for their commitment to this community, for their foresight into seeing this project as more than simply a park with some extra parking, but for also what it can be and what it will do for this community. And as they have said multiple times over the past few months, during the process of discussing this project, the concept plans, and the construction planning, they have said time and time again, it is time. And I am so proud, humbled, and excited to finally be able to say, it is time to build Riverfront Park. With that, I'd like to welcome to the podium Mayor Michelle Collins.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming out. Ryan just demonstrated what an asset he is to our Parks and Rec department and to this city. Again, thank you all for coming out on this bright sunny morning. What a great occasion it is that brings us here. All of us in the city are very excited about this project to complete the Riverfront Park, and it's just great to see this work finally get underway. I would like to take a moment for you all to recognize and appreciate your city council members that are here and have thrown their full support behind this project. In the audience is Councilman Tom Nicholas, Councilwoman Sarah Thacker, Councilman John Stolder, Councilman Steve Binkler, Councilman Mike McCabe. Our vice mayor is here, Jeff Nestor, and last but never least is our councilman, Ryan Colvin. Thank you all. It has been our city's vision for about 20 years to have this space serving as a gathering place for this community. Strategically, the objective has been for the park to help attract people to our downtown business district and enhance our ongoing revitalization efforts. There are downtown businesses who specifically came here and were opened because of our long-term plans for this park. It has been one of our tools, and it has been successful. But our full build-out of the park space has been incremental. With this project, we're about to see unfold, that build-out accelerates. The updated plan emphasizes realistic and vibrant improvements to the park that will transform the space. New components will draw more people to the Riverfront Park and to our downtown. City Council and I support this plan. We're excited to be able to provide this to the community and especially for every family, including our own. We are very pleased that economic resources are in place and that it could happen. I want to thank the public and the downtown businesses in advance for their patience and tolerance during the construction process. When we emerge on the other side, I think it's going to be one of the signature facilities in Miamisburg and one of the finest along the Miami River corridor. Finally, I want to thank our staff in the Parks and Rec Department, engineering, public works. Most of them are here, so let's give them a round of applause. Everyone in the back, everyone that's worked on it, thank you very much. I want to thank our Parks and Rec Advisory Board and also all the contractors that we have on board. We are looking forward to seeing this transformation. Thank you again, and thanks for coming out, and it's my honor to introduce our city manager, Keith Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. Of the speakers today, I actually am the most senior with this project. I go back approximately 30 years ago when I moved here initially as a city planner. I was asked to make a few remarks to kind of tie a little bit about how important this project is as far as the downtown. But we 30 years ago, and again, you have to go back and look at what the city was like 30 years ago, and especially the downtown. 30 years ago, the downtown was about 80% vacant. It was not unusual to walk downtown and see some of the storefront owners actually cooking their lunches in crock pots and storefront windows. But again, it was just, our downtown was a product of the Dayton Mall, of the plaza, and at one time, what was the center point of our community. We bought our goods downtown, we did our shopping downtown. Over the years, that changed. And 30 years ago, we began looking at what can we do downtown to change things. And understand also 30 years ago, we were dealing with the cleanup of the mound. That was a major project in the city. We had just completed construction of Pipestone Golf Course, but we were looking toward creating additional residential development in the city. And it was also the time that we began looking at, should we look at constructing an interchange south of town? So there were a lot of activities going on at the city. And we reached out to the public through a strategic planning process and said, help us understand priorities. What's important to you? And overwhelmingly, the public said the downtown. So we actually started looking at the downtown as far as how do we change things about 30 years ago. So the first thing we did was we brought in the National League of Cities, and we had at that time council members that were very involved with the National League of Cities. We had them come in and have a fresh set of eyes look at the downtown and tell us what we ought to be looking at. And they told us some things we already knew. One, we have one of the few identifiable downtowns in the county. Outside the city of Dayton, you've got cities that have collections of buildings, and some of them today are trying to brand those, whether or not they're uptowns or some of the other small towns that are doing that. You also have developments like Austin and the Green that are trying to create downtowns to lure shoppers in. But what we have is a downtown, and you can feel it when you walk downtown. It's got a life of its own. You feel it when you walk down there. So the consultant told us, you've got an identifiable downtown. The other thing is you have an asset sitting in your backyard. It's not even at your back door, but it's the riverfront and it's the bikeway, and you've got to find a way to connect that to your downtown. So the impetus to begin looking at what to do started back then. And I'll tell you, 30 years ago, I would have never thought that we'd be doing a groundbreaking on this very site, because you guys are sitting, the audience is sitting in places where there were rental houses, group homes. Across the way, there was a commercial building, there was a body shop. We had another body shop down there, but it was an area in disrepair, and that was connected to our downtown, and it was separating us from the riverfront. So we began what was the first of a bunch of master plan ideas about what to do with this. And actually, some of the plans that we looked at involved, one of those was a farmer's market here. We actually looked at that. We actually looked at alternatives that involved condos and housing units along the river. But what seemed to be accepted by the public and the business community was looking at developing a park. So that was the first set of those plans. We then brought a park consultant in who developed a very ambitious and aggressive plan, unfortunately not very implementable. But the original plan was a $20 million park plan here that involved taking the levee and moving it into the downtown. It involved kayak drops, which again, very ambitious, other buildings out here, but there was a centerpiece that involved an amphitheater. So when Ryan talked about the final plan being pieces of other plans, that's where that came from. And as that plan began to evolve, our focus as the planning was going on was on Main Street. And a lot of the activities and things that occurred out there, the city helped prep that by doing streetscape work out there. We helped the businesses by providing grants. We did one-on-one counseling. You heard earlier that businesses moved here because of the plan. I'm here to tell you that they did. I was part of those discussions. Ben Dotson, when they moved down there, the thing that got Ben to go, well, maybe I'll sell my business and open up a restaurant, was the plan. And that's why you see so many of these restaurants that have put decks on the back with the understanding that there would be a park back here. So as the park plan evolved and the downtown began evolving, back then he was recreational superintendent Ryan Davis decided, let's put an interim stage out here and put some things out here to see if the public will respond and come out here. And what we saw, which was initially just a passive area for people to come out at, over a period of years, it evolved into over 80 events during the year. So we knew the public was using it. We knew the people that came here went to the restaurants, so we knew we were on the right track. We just had to get to that particular point. So as we made it through COVID and our reserve funds began building, and the Councilman Stalder is sitting straight dead and center, John said, you know what, we do a lot of good park plans. We need to implement some of these. And it was John at one of these meetings that says, let's start with Riverfront Park. I think that's a great plan. Let's do it. And we were able to finalize the design plan that you see here today. This project is being built with cash. We are not borrowing money to do that. Our reserve fund had grown to a point that we began identifying projects to implement. This is the first of 2 park projects that we're going to be doing, but obviously the most visible. So the other interesting thing to note about this, the mayor did introduce council that's here. None of these members, including the mayor, were here 30 years ago when we started that process. So it took vision, and it took holding on to that vision to get us here today. So I'm just so happy to be here at this point. I was hoping that during my career we would start this project, and it's certainly a great day for everyone. I am going to echo recognitions out here because again, council has been very supportive of the vision and the plan. The merchants have been true partners. Some of them are here today, but we would not be in the position that we are downtown if the things we weren't doing weren't supporting you. And not only were they, you also supported the park. So as we had events here, you brought your merchandise, your food into the park to help support the success of those programs. And again, just to the residents, I want to congratulate you because you are about to get an amazing park. So with that, I am going to turn it over, and I believe that our next speaker is on his way. Greg?
So you saw me in the hard hat. That's my day job as a construction worker in a Village People tribute band. But today, I represent the Miamisburg Community Foundation. Now, many of you may not even know that the foundation even exists, but this is the 10th year of the Miamisburg Community Foundation. In 2013, the Miamisburg Community Foundation was created to secure funding to enhance the quality of life in Miamisburg. That's our number one goal right there, to enhance the quality of life in Miamisburg. Now that is a pretty big mandate. Admittedly, most of what the foundation has accomplished to date has been under the radar, but that's okay, as long as it gets done. During the pandemic, your trustees administered the Louise Epperson Restaurant Rescue Fund. And it was made possible by a generous donation and grant from her husband Dan and the people of Seapath, which is a Miamisburg company that Louise created, managed, and loved. Together with the Miamisburg Merchants Association and the Miamisburg Rotary Club, the foundation oversaw the Star City Business Relief Fund. And that's kind of what this town is about and what the foundation is supposed to be about. Working together, working with the service clubs, and working with the other organizations in this town. We have 3 fabulous murals. 2 of them you can see right here that were funded and overseen by the foundation, but it was funded through the people of the town and the businesses of the town. And now we have the foundation's most ambitious project yet. We're going to raise at least $1.5 million to help make Riverfront Park and Sycamore Trails Park as amazing a destination as our beautiful downtown is today. And this is where you, your neighbors, your family, and your businesses come in. Everyone can be a part of this. We're looking for $250 bricks and $250,000 naming rights. Everyone can be a part of this. And so far, we're doing pretty good. We're about 1/3 of the way there, believe it or not. We started with the Louise Epperson stage. You've seen those drawings. That, again, donations from the Dan Epperson and his family. We have 3 $50,000 donations so far. We have an anonymous donation, the Miamisburg Eagles, thank you, and Bentley Heating and Cooling. Collins Real Estate, Todd and Kathy Barlett, and the Miamisburg Community Foundation. And I just heard recently that Steve Divnick is now a $10,000 donor. Thank you very much. Think Patented has given, and it fell out on the way up here. But anyway, they made a tremendous brochure, and I have a whole bag full of them. And if we need more, we've got them back there. And if we need even more than that, I'm sure that Think Patented will print them up for us. But that's going to show you what we're looking at, how to raise the funds, and where you can raise the funds. Number 1, MiamisburgCommunityFoundation.org. Go to the website, put in your credit card, make a donation. Take a check down to Farmers and Merchants Bank. Kelly or Robin down there, they'll know what to do with it. You can take a check to the Miamisburg Community Center and Parks and Recreation. They're taking donations there. This is a project that is infrastructure being funded by the city, then the private citizens are able to make a part of it, be a part of it, and make it to the next level. That's what we're trying to do here, and that's where your donations come in. And now I'd like to introduce the trustees of the Miamisburg Community Foundation. A few of them are here. Sean Myers is not. As is typical, he's out in West Carrollton right now doing shoes for the shoeless. Shelby Spurlock is here. Thank you, Shelby. Keith Basinger, he is not here today. Or Tom Krosky. Steve Divnick is one of our trustees. Thank you, Steve. I just mentioned him a little bit earlier. Gail Fink. Gail is here, I think. Thank you very much. Vanessa Gottfelder, who has also been a part of this project through Montgomery County. And Niels Winther. Thank you very much, Neil. Keith Johnson, Michelle Collins, and Ryan Davis are ex officio members of our organization. Now, one thing that you probably realize is that most of the names on that list you're familiar with. These are the same people who are on the boards, the commissions, and the service clubs that make things happen in Miamisburg. And that's what we're asking you to do, is to help and be a part of this and give today. Thank you very much.
All right, and with that, let's throw some dirt. So I'd like to invite council and city manager up here.